Here is a free plugin called Sienna Rooms, free from Acustica, and this is only free as long as you get it by October 1st. Okay, I'll show you where to get it and how to get it here in a minute. But first off, what is Sienna? So Sienna is a scaled, Sienna Rooms free is a scaled down version of the full version of Sienna. And what Sienna aims to do is be a virtual mix room so you can mix wearing headphones and still experience, crosstalk of speakers, reverberations from walls, and things that you would experience in the real world. Now, this aims to do what a lot of different plugins aim to do. We just reviewed Waves CLA-NX, for example, and all of these plugins, they aim to do the same thing, and that is allow you to mix on headphones while experiencing your music as if it's being played in a room. And I'll show you what I mean here for those who don't know what that means. We'll start off bypassed here. Now, whenever I turn on Sienna, of course, our virtual mix room is going to come on, and you're going to hear everything sort of move forward. Right now, everything is sort of locked to left and right, okay? So once we have our virtual room, everything's going to move out, just like it will do in, any of these other virtual mix rooms, all right? Right, it moves out, right? When I bypass it, it all comes back. Now, you can hear this even better on something like panning, for example. So whenever you're panning on headphones that are just left and right, you don't always have a sense of space, and you might not know exactly where you want to pan things in space. So here's an example of that. Here we have a snare. Okay, so it's just coming down the middle right now. But if I pan this all the way over, I have Sienna bypassed right now. I have this panned all the way to the left. So as long as you're wearing headphones, you're only going to hear this essentially just in your left ear. Right? It's just locked to the left. All right. But if you listen to that snare, even if it's panned all the way to the left, and you listen to it in a room through a speaker, you're still going to hear things in your right ear. That's just how sound waves work. It's how real rooms work. So whenever we turn this on, now you're going to hear that snare in your headphones more like you would hear it, in the real world. Again, still panned all the way over. Bypass it. Now it's locked to one side. Room back on. Okay. So that's one reason why you might want to use a virtual mix room. Another reason might be for effects, even EQ, compression, reverb, delays, things like that. So right here, we have a reverb and delay, and we'll start with Sienna bypassed. So I just have my headphones to judge the space on.
And I wanna go back and live 1,000 lifetimes with you. And
So just wearing headphones, that's not too bad. I might dry it out a little bit, but that's not too bad just wearing headphones. Now, once I go into the real world, into a real space through speakers, I might find that I have oversaturated it or even perhaps undersaturated it. It kind of depends on the headphones that you're using. Let's hear that.
And I wanna go back and live 1,000 lifetimes with you.
So it's a bit much, right? In that case, I'd probably just dry it out a bit. Once I check it in my virtual room, pull this down a bit, dry it out just a bit, and it should sound better now.
And I wanna go back and live 1,000 lifetimes with you. And I wanna...
All right, and it sounds good on just headphones as well. Same thing when it comes to EQ and compression and things like that as well. So if I have Sienna bypassed right now, just wearing headphones, depending on the headphone model, I'm going to bypass that reverb too. Depending on your headphone model, your headphones might overhype the high end. They might really cut out the lows. So, on your EQ or something, you may end up really, oversaturating your low end or pulling down your top end. Just depends on your exact headphones, right?
And I wanna go back. back and live 1,000 lifetimes with you. And
So that's pretty good, again, just using headphones. But once you get out into the real world, your mix might not translate well unless you check it, of course, on real speakers. And you can't always check it on real speakers if you don't have a really nicely tuned room. You have very small speakers to check it on. You're traveling, etc., etc. Lots of reasons why you might not be able to check things here. Turn this back on here.
And I wanna go back and live 1,000 lives.
So it's too woofy in the low end now that I check it here in the room. Pull that down a bit and a little more on that top end.
And I wanna go back and live
That's much better.
1,000 lifetimes with
Pull
you.
in a reverb and
And
delay.
I wanna escape this moment. It gets harder without you.
Okay, there you go. So that is a reason why, or a few reasons why you might want to use Sienna or something like Sienna. And all of these concepts apply to any of the different virtual mix rooms out there. The concept and the reason is exactly the same. Just use the one that you prefer. And this one here is free, so if you don't have the money to try any of the paid ones that we have reviewed, you can get into the world of virtual mix rooms for free. And just like all of the other virtual mix rooms out there, you would place Sienna on your master output and you are good to go. As far as controls, because Sienna Rooms Free is so cut down, it doesn't have a lot of options or features. You're just going to get one room here. Whenever you start this up, by the way, it's going to look like this. So you're going to have to head in here and go to your room, load up your room. You can't switch through a bunch of speakers like you can with the full version. You have your input trim. That's pretty self-explanatory. You have the overall effect, essentially, with this knob, your total output. So you can match the difference between this being on versus being bypassed. You have some presets. So basically you switch between settings real quick up here, presets right there. And then you also have a bunch of different presets for certain headphones. And they have a lot of different headphone models in here to sort of, further make it a little more realistic, depending on the headphones that you are wearing. So that's the overall operation. You have your perfection slider, which basically goes between the original response of the speaker or a more linear response. So you can just play with that and get the room set up the way that you like it. In order to get Sienna free, you must get it by October 1st, 2021. So you have as of the posting of this video, you have some time to get this lite version. This link, of course, will be in the description below. Essentially what you need to do is have an account, a free account, and then you need to get the Aquarius desktop application. I'll show you what that looks like. This is it here. Log in and then scroll down and you are looking for Sienna free. So Sienna free, not these here. These are the paid versions, the full version. So you want Sienna free. You can then install it and choose whatever version you want. Now I'm on Windows, so I only have access to VST or AAX, but get whatever version you want, get multiple versions. So I have the AAX version for Pro Tools. I also have the VST version for Studio One. So you have to install those separately. Now, as long as you get this by October 1st, 2021, you will own it forever. After that, you won't be able to get it at all. So make sure if you want it to get it by then. So if you want to get into the world of virtual mix rooms, but you haven't made a purchase yet and you kind of want to try it out for free, this is a way that you can try it out for free. If you like it, you can, of course, upgrade to the full version of Sienna, or, of course, check out any of the other plugins out there and just choose the one that works for you. Also, I should note for those who don't know how these things work, once you're done mixing, you would bypass this plugin or remove it from your master and then make your, and then bounce things out. These mix room plugins are only made as essentially like a tool for mixing. So you use it for mixing and then you bypass it before you bounce things out, unless you want to use it as sort of like a creative effect. All right, so we'll play this track out, and let's start with Sienna off. I'll turn it on, and we'll make some adjustments here as we play our way out. What do you say? Ready? Now it's on.